much. Pleasure to be here and to talk to all of you. I am calling in, as you said, from Switzerland, and I'm very happy to share some of my experiences from a student perspective and from multi-stakeholder collaboration at the nexus of business education, B Corp, sustainable business, and student engagement with all of you. And I'd like to start my presentation by maybe talking a little bit about my story, and more specifically about 3 to 4 years ago, I was, as was just mentioned, a BA student here at the University of St. Gallen in Switzerland. And I would say, as many of my peers, towards the end of my studies, I felt a bit lost. Lots of the stuff you learn is very abstract. Lots of case studies with fictitious numbers, sometimes fictitious companies. If we had concrete inputs from companies, those were generally the biggies. Here in Switzerland, that would be big banks or the Nestle's of this world. And then at some point I was wondering, but is that really how business works? Is that a tangible, does that provide me with a tangible perception of what I'll be able to do after I end my studies? And especially important for me at the time was, where was sustainability in all of this? And it was conspicuously absent. So at the time I had the luck to get involved in a student association, Student Impact, which is here at the University of St. Gallen, a student-led sustainability consultancy. We work with startups, SMEs, NGOs, and sometimes also larger organizations to either support them on integrating sustainability in their present business models, and also to sort of help impact-oriented, mostly startups, grow and become economically viable and scalable. So that's sort of how we try to drive change. We utilize consulting as a means to success and as a tool, essentially. And we ground that on a strong community of active members, alumni who are mostly young professionals working here in Switzerland in the impact/consulting fields, and also alumni from our broader university sphere. So that means Student Impact, my organization, sits at the nexus of various different bubbles. By bringing together students and companies, we, on the one hand, can help proliferate sustainable business ideas, practices, and mindsets. By doing so on these consulting projects, our members also go through quite a dramatic and important personal and professional development, I would say. And in doing so, we also try to indirectly drive the transformation of how business school education works here in St. Gallen, more specifically. We've been in existence for 10 years now. We've worked with over 120 organizations from various fields, from sustainable food and sustainable fashion to B2B cases in the technology segment, to larger organizations with a multinational footprint, and also to NGOs and foundations. There's also no specific sector focus, and there's a broad variety of SDGs that we indirectly tackle by working with organizations that engage on these important topics. And we also worked with, on the one hand, specifically with B-Lab here in Switzerland, and also several companies who are in the process of acquiring the B certification or already are B Corp certified. So that's sort of the consulting part of the story. And then, as I said, and we are also very much open about this internally and to our external stakeholders, consulting is really also just a tool for us to not only help companies, but also to educate our members in a way, an experiential learning tool. Because on these projects, students already during their studies get a chance to work with actual companies on actual problems, apply all the stuff that they hear about in the classrooms on actual cases, and make very good use of this knowledge by solving problems that are very often very pressing for the companies that we work with, that are typically very small and not addressed by conventional consulting offerings in the market. So lots of skills and competencies that can be acquired on the job. We also have quite an extensive training program, an internal training program to sort of bridge any gap that actually still exists between the sustainability footprint within the conventional curriculum at our university and what our students A, want to know, and B, to an increasing degree also need to know. So we try to bridge that through internal courses by inviting external experts and so on and so forth. And also throughout that, we try to embed a certain mindset. We call it the agent of change mindset in our members to make them aware that they can be contributing to society already as students with little to no experience, but with lots of will and lots of motivation to do something and to engage. So that's the story of my organization. And now about 2 years ago, I happened to come across a lecturer here at the University of St. Gallen. I told him about my organization, and he figured, hey, why don't we think about integrating this approach into the curriculum, which is normally very one-directional, also how I experienced it. You learn things in the classroom, you internalize them, sort of university makes you employable, and you deliver your skills, your knowledge in the workplace after university. But why not apply what we do at Student Impact, bringing in concrete cases, bringing in the knowledge that we have in our network into the business school and co-creating a seminar format around that. So that's how a new course was introduced at the University of St. Gallen. We called it Be the Change, Discovering Consulting and Sustainability. It's a collaboration between the Institute for Economy and the Environment here at the university and Student Impact. It's explicitly framed as a co-creative and co-taught course format. So we do have a formal lecturer, but the course is to a very large degree facilitated by students, advanced students, who sort of frame the course, bring in the expertise, bring in lots of their motivation, and design the lectures and the class experience. It's a bachelor level course here at the university, and in the initial pilot phase, a quite small course where students had to apply to become part of it. What is the role of my organization in all of this? As I said, we leverage our network. So we try to bring in concrete cases of companies. We try to bring in lots of the knowledge that we generated over the last 10 years internally, and also leverage the facilitation expertise that our members have acquired by working on various consulting projects. And on the other hand, a big advantage of this student co-teaching format that we have of students acting as active facilitators of the course experience, we can create a very authentic course environment where the course facilitators really meet the students eye to eye. They're about the same age, about the same stage of their life, seeing the world through very similar eyes, which I would say just through the very fact of being the same age cohort allows us to create a very different and very authentic course experience. So this is more the intangible contribution that we at Student Impact provide. To go a little bit deeper into how we actually structure this experiential learning format, we conceptualized 3 learning pillars, as we like to call it. The main part of our course is built on a very concrete project with an impact-oriented startup. That is simply based on the conviction that there is far too many problems that need to be solved out there, far too many companies that need help, far too many potentially very impactful ventures that could profit immensely if they could just get the support of students. We figured this is a very important case why we'd rather bring in actual companies than work on fictitious case studies, fictitious or even real case studies. So the students work on concrete projects with ventures from the surrounding area that do activities in sustainable food, sustainable fashion. That's the cases we have at the moment. So very, very tangible cases. with the goal of letting them work on a very concrete case, a very pressing problem, which is mostly very research and market study related, deriving marketing strategies, deriving go-to-market strategies. So things that these companies actually need at the moment. Then the second part is learning from experts. We do try to bring in professionals from the field of consulting / sustainability, or the intersection of both, which is strongly growing at the moment. We also try to really open up the space, give enough space to our students to exchange about stuff they would like to learn about. We also try to be very flexible in the course design, open every course with half an hour check-in where students can bring in anything that they want to discuss, anything that's sort of pressing for them at the moment related to sustainability always. And then if possible, we also try to sort of be quite agile and leverage our network to potentially bring in experts also on short notice to talk about things that students want to hear about.
Johannes, we have 2 more minutes.
Yeah,
possible?
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course. And then a very strong focus on peer-to-peer exchange. So that is sort of inherent in the format, given that students facilitate the course format. And also, as I said, a lot of lots of room and space for students to discuss amongst themselves. We have quite reputable companies involved, from the very well-known McKinsey's, smaller boutique consultancies with a strong focus on sustainability, and also B-Lab, for example, with regular interventions. And maybe a couple of words to round this off on how did it work. We ran this course as a pilot for the first time in the last fall and got tremendous feedback. So students very much valued the hands-on project work, working with real companies where you can actually see the impact of the slides you produce, the reports you produce. They also very much valued the space for reflection. This is something that was very interesting for me because as a student here at the business school, I rarely had to write reflection papers. At least here, this seems to be underappreciated, how important it is to not only deliver knowledge, but also give students the room to reflect on it. That was super important. We also experiment a lot with the classroom setting, which was very well received. And just the specific potential in and of itself, leveraging student engagement to bring that into course formats seems to be very promising. So we're running this course again at the moment, and very open to scaling it here, but also bringing it to other universities. And with that, I close it. Thanks for your attention and happy to receive any questions afterwards.
Thank you so much, Johannes. Now we will move to Samuele Tini. So Samuele is a sustainability development expert and the host of the Sustainability Journey podcast. So through his work, he connects a diverse range of experts, change makers, and innovators working in the environmental conservation and developmental efforts to help bring ecosystem restoration and improve the lives of those below the poverty line. Samuele, do you want to share?
Perfect, the video.
Yeah.
Thank you, Veronica. Let me see if I manage. Can you see it? Because my connection. So, can you see it properly?
Yeah, perfect.
Can you see it properly? Full screen? Thank you.
Oh, now we see the both slides. You know, not just
we see the speaker view, Samuele. So if you click on the top there, I think it's impostazione.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. So yeah, this side, because I have 2 screens. Which screen are you seeing? This one?
Yes.
Oh my.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
So
okay. Let me remove and then get the other. Sorry. You know, with many screens, you get so many things.
Yeah.
This one. Now you can see.
Okay, but present.
Perfect. Now it's good.
Okay, we're just one moment, Samuele. If you choose impostazione di visualizzazione,
Yes.
I believe,
Yes,
click on
sorry.
that, and I believe if you switch the other one,
okay.
Invert. Yeah, there we go.
Perfect. Sorry. Very good. Thank you. Sorry for that thing. As you can see, this is something that I've never done remotely. So, but thank you, Samma, for the support. Who I am. So when Veronica wrote me the email, I was overwhelmed and honored to share this journey as a personal journey. It's not more, it delves in a bit of research, it delves a bit of sustainability. And I'm happy also to see that this relates a lot to what we have discussed today, especially the question the professor who said, you know, how we can promote visibility of the B Corps, with which tools. That is something that the students are asking. And in my journey, I said, what I can do and what individuals can do. So not only university, not only cities, not only researchers, but also a student like me, what I can do to do something to promote and share, you know, this new wave of capitalism and work and change. So, but before that, I can share who I am. So as Veronica said, I worked I'm originally Italian, but for 17 years, I've been working in several African countries doing development. I did also some publication, not at the level of the people of the panel here, which is, I can say, 50% of my literature review of my dissertation. So I can see now people in real. And then, as I said, in 2020, I decided to embark in my MBA to be able to speak business, you know, to be taken even more seriously. And then pandemic hit. And then I started to ask how I can bring together these two worlds, how I can bring my purpose, my focus, my work on not for profit, but also try to discuss. And B Corp seemed to be something that was a natural way. And then I asked myself how I can do even more, you know. It all started with my research. The idea started growing. You put some ingredients in the pot and then something come out. So as you see, I cited 2 papers and there are many more. And even today, the discussion we had today, it points out to that. Many people, you know, they say B Corps, they are known. I've seen in the chat, they are known even in the US. And this is something I also noticed in my interviews. Are mainly in the B2B space now is become, but the B2C is a bit difficult. So there is one paper, Bianchi and other people also here. So they pointed out that there is to raise awareness, to improve access. Then there is this, the biggest challenge expressed to me is the customer awareness. So awareness is something that is coming. And it also happened that during my dissertation, I interviewed a lot of B Corp and everybody was saying, we need, and also in B Lab East Africa, everybody was saying, we need more awareness. At the question, what do we need to do? We need to do more. We need to make them aware that we are there. We need to create more connections. We need also to be there present because many people as customers, they don't know what B Corp certification is. Talking here from the African context, I think not even one or 2 people on the road, they will not know what a B Corp certification is, and maybe just in Nairobi, but all over Kenya, I think is something pretty strange. And this is something that has been across all geographies that I've interviewed also in my small research. Then starting from there, I said, okay, then I started to put more pots and more thoughts in shaping my dream and how to see the work. And then I say, okay, there is this new movement of reshaping capitalism, which I was interested. Then I had the privilege to go also to COP and discuss and see the young people, as many of you have discussed, especially in the first part. You can touch the young generation that they want for, the need for change and what they are asking, especially to us. And being one of them, also being involved in conservation, I asked to myself, you know, what I can do. And I started brewing my idea to offer a diverse view. And, you know, the B Corp was starting to emerge. It was also my passion and my work. And so I started to create what was my question. No, I started with the assumption that everybody can have an impact. And I think we have demonstrated, and we are demonstrating, especially in this event and the other events I have participated with everybody can have an impact. So, you know, the institution and the research institution we have seen, we will see the cities in the next presentation, individuals, and we will see students, what Johannes was talking about. And then I say, what I can do myself. Being an Italian sitting on the islands of Kenya, what I can really do to show and to give visibility, to work, to solve, to help, to give my small drop to help bring forward the movement. And then I started to create, to think about some key objective, to share, giving voice to change makers, not only in the B Corp space, but also innovation, to create networking. And also I took this as a personal challenge. I'm profoundly introvert. I'm not a native speaker. So, I had a lot of problem at the beginning to say, oh, what I can do, people will listen to me, but they say, okay, let us go, let us move forward. And as you know, every journey starts with a step. And then from there, I created my strategy. So where I started, and this is a slide that is, I think, central in the presentation, because I wanted to create here a bit of a journey that I've done, and then how also we can have impact starting from scratch. When I started, I did an analysis of myself. I had no connection, no affiliation, no brand. There was no university behind me. I didn't have any, I was not an expert. I didn't have anything. So I say, I was just an MBA student from a UK university. And then that he was interested in sustainability, and they did some work in Africa in not-for-profits. But they say, okay, what are the objectives that I want to do in my journey? So I want to create something that is diverse, that gives voice to global. So I don't want just the usual giving voice to just the usual parts, the North American and the European view, but try to have a very big and very diverse range of guests and change makers, and be very open to different fields to give value for my audience. And then I say, which is the key entry point? And the key entry point is, of course, to serve your customer, to give them high quality guests. So I went out and then start looking for guests. And then mainly I focus in academia. I had the people, some of them, they're even here. And so I had guests from business schools, I had innovators, and then more and more, I can say 30–40% of the guests are from B Lab and B Corps guests, because I really wanted to give the movement a voice. And then I asked myself, and then we can even go to the question that was asked in the first question, how we can promote. And then I asked myself, how I can do this, how I need good guests, I need to be diverse, how I can do, what I can do. And then I say, the easiest way for me is try to talk. So I decided to create a tool. So that is the podcast we are discussing about. I wanted to be a multi-channel, to try to get all different layers of people, the young generation, the older generation, so to have different channels and target the diverse audiences with the different social media, so from the Facebook, the Twitter, and everything. And this was a process of learning by doing, completely from scratch, trying. I'm not an expert in social marketing, so I try to see and discuss and see, and slowly building up, and again using and giving good services with the guest. And then you might say, okay, you have a good strategy, but has this strategy yielded some impact? As this individual effort helped a bit the movement? And then I gave some small, I tried to get some small data. Up to now, and it's 1 year old, the podcast, to my surprise, I managed to cover almost all the world. You can see everywhere there is colored, somebody has listened to me. And of course, USA and UK, since also they have higher penetration of the podcast market, is more used users, they are the first two. But I'm very pleased to have also India, Kenya, and then several European countries, because that is also something that really helped a lot. And I think is also a sign that the diversity of guests helped a lot. I had guests from all over the world, from Australia to West Indies to India and to Africa. And then I reached some key milestones, so which are still a work in progress, but demonstrate, a small impact, the work that can be done even from an individual to really give voice to change maker and really raise awareness for the movement. So I started, exactly as I said, from zero. I raised about 3,000, I think I'm now 2,400 followers of people, which I'm really amazed. I got views, the views are there. But the most important thing, I managed to get a very diverse range of guests from all over the continent. It was for me a wonderful learning experience, and a learning experience also from people, which they are sending me feedbacks, asking me questions, and which was really an important and very interesting, experience. And then when preparing the conversation, I decided I wanted to give you also a visual, and I'm sure many of you can recognize some of the people that are there. Some of them, they are members of B academics and of the B Lab, or the broader B local movement, or other B Corps. And all of this also plowed back also in my work and in my dissertation and the work, because this experience, that was an very interesting experience, helped me develop my research, and I got to close to 40 interviews with the B Corps. Some of the people I've interviewed are even present here. And okay, is it just an MBA dissertation? It's even too much. You are a researcher better than me, and you know, 40 interview or 40, 50 minutes is 1,000, is 700 pages of transcript, which maybe for the purpose is even too much, but it was very interesting for me as a way to learn. And I will not say do research with, but try to experience and work with them and try to see the journeys with the different B Corps. And then help me to establish a connection and trust with change maker, to try to also discuss. And it was also very interesting because I learned about B academics. I participated in some events. Even I went to some events also in Nairobi, thanks to Mumbi. And then I also decided to become a B leader, and I did the training at B Lab, East Africa. And from there, it really helped me to raise awareness and also to give my contribution to the movement, especially in our continent, in Africa, which is, of course, still an emerging market. And as you can see, I can share, it has the same numbers of what the previous presenters discussed about Korea, Singapore, China. We are still working, but we don't have the numbers of B Corps or certified B Corps as more established markets, but we are growing and trying to develop the movement. And then from there, I tried to summarize 3 lessons that I learned. So the first one, from the many guests I have seen, and then you can see there, I've seen there is a strong motivation, and people from all over and different areas. They have motivation and wanted to change. I have managed to create a community that now we discuss and create with my 55 and more guests, and more are coming. Even I was asked to present a book from the Yale Sustainability Center the other. So it's coming and is moving like a snowball effect, we can say. And then I've discovered everybody is a change maker. Some of you, I've seen also many universities. I also try to put in this slide some advice for who wants to be a podcaster. Podcasting is a long run game. It's all about consistency, and sometimes it's very tedious because you have to work, to learn how to work on all these graphics, which I'm not very good. I had to work on audio, and it was a process. I also got some help on the way because sometimes you cannot read everything, but it's something that really enabled me to get out and really raise awareness. And then from there, I know the timing, I know Veronica will almost come for me, where I want to go. I've started from zero, now I'm there up to 2,000 and more. People are coming. I'm fully booked until November. So people are and it's becoming like from an hobby to something more, but that is more than an hobby. As a way also to me, my volunteering. And then the first one, the first way forward, I would like also to hear, I've listened to wonderful presentations, So it will be wonderful also to bring on board even more people from B Academics. I had from the B Academics, I think, Mumbi and others. So it will be wonderful to have more of you and share your research and work and see wonderful research and work. And the next step is to become even more, you know, what I call it a B podcast, something that can really help the movement to raise awareness, to respond to that question and to the need that is coming from the companies and that is also coming from the people say, how we can manage also to bring forward the movement and to really exploit the potential that is there. So I'm really grateful to be here and to even be able to share my personal way, an individual journey, which can be many. A way can be help and raise awareness to the movement. So I want to thank you. So I wait for question and see, and those are my contacts in case some people want to discuss and see. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Samuele. It's really interesting, your journey, and we will have questions at the end. Now we will have Elena Damia from BLab Spain and Federica Massa-Saluzzo, professor from EADA Business School. So they both can tell us about their experience collaborating in Barcelona+B. So it will be a sort of conversation, I believe.
Yes. Well, it's a love story, so we have to be two or more, but we are two. Today we're two. Elena.
It's almost always a really good story, like love stories. Now, we are very happy to introduce our alliance between university, a business school, and a foundation, BLab Foundation, and with the creation of Barcelona+B. Barcelona+B, it is born after some other cities can be, or other ciudades más B, in Latin America, where this project started, with the idea of making better cities with better companies and better people, yes, better people for getting a good SDGs. This is the essence of Ciudades Más B and Barcelona+B. Barcelona+B is the first one, the first Ciudad Más B in Europe, really, as itself. What is it exactly? It's a public and a private initiative whose purpose is to project Barcelona as a benchmark city in the construction of a global movement that promotes business and social change to contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals. In other words, it's the sum up of different entities, organizations, private and public, to make Barcelona a better city, to become a better city, and to become a reference or a benchmark for other cities in the world, especially in Europe. Okay, yes. What do we promote? We have like 3 working areas. One of them is to promote the impact business model, as we do from BLab already, but not trying to make companies become a B Corp, but to starting a change, to starting the transformation. It's like the base area of transformation. But we want to reach lots of companies. We also invite the participation of citizens and social entities in the search for solutions to contribute to Barcelona's challenge in employability, inclusion, and education. We are starting this area really now, and we'll begin with some focus group with different entities and citizens, and also companies will participate to try to make companies in Barcelona more inclusive in terms of employability. And the third area is the one, that's why we are here together, Fede and me, is that we articulate opportunities of collaboration. Barcelona+B, since the very beginning, is started as a conjunction of stakeholders, bringing together all their resources to achieve one same goal. It's to make Barcelona a better city to live. And one of our partners is EADA. Fede, can you move the? Okay, yes. We are four strategic partners. It is City Council as public. Then we have Ferrer as a private company. We have EADA as business school, so academic. And we have B-Lab as a foundation. The four of us, and I want to say it, the four of us really have made this possible, working together. It's not that one of us is better than the other or says more things than the other or marks a line more than the other. No, we are working together. And especially with EADA. We are really, Fede and I, and personally, we've been working with ideas together and making them happen, the same as for EADA and B-Lab as institutions. So the other group of logos you see down the strategic partners are different alliances that we have made to be able to reach more companies and more citizens. These are our associations or entities towards we reach more people and companies for our final goal. And now you can present if you want.
Yes. So, well, and then here we are. So everybody probably knows B-Lab and of course B Academics, but maybe not everybody knows EADA because we are small, because it's a business school that has been there for more than 60 years. It came up in Barcelona during the dictatorship of Franco, but as I would say, a sort of brave woman decided to fund this institution. And with the passing of time, EADA gained a big role in Barcelona and started becoming in the last years a reference in sustainability. A spoiler is that we also have Veronica among our faculty members. So we are small, but with a group of activist scholars, we're very happy to be here. And what do we do? Together with B-Lab and Elena in particular, we have been trying to promote some of the axes of Barcelona+B. That's why maybe we could be defined strange bedfellows, where we're building a little bit on the initial literature by Ted London that has defined this cross-sector collaboration as strange bedfellows, because we are quite strange. We have different resources, we have different approaches towards things. It's a little bit what Garima said before, slow, analytical, rather than fast-paced and with broader objectives. But I think that across the months, we have been able to achieve some common goals that we are proud of, we're happy about, and we want to share them with you. Not only because they created value for us, but also for the community that we are trying to inform and to help, that is Barcelona. One thing that we think we have learned and that it's helped us a lot is the type of organizational structure that we have. That is, even if I have bosses, Elena has bosses, yet we don't feel the hierarchy so much. That is, we take decisions, we are free to take decisions. And one very nice thing that happens is that sometimes we have meetings with the 4 partners, sometimes the 3 or 2, never alone, that would be quite schizophrenic. But even if we are only 2, then we have the power to implement things. So it's not that being so many is a limit. It's quite the contrary. Being 4 is for us an advantage. It gives us the ability to be flexible because we can take decisions whether we're 2, 3, or 4, and combinations of this. And then with Elena, it's quite easy. And so it's also fun to take decisions and make them happen. And then another element is the type of knowledge. It is what also Garima said before about the diversity and the difference in knowledge. This could be probably seen on the one hand as a conflict, but on the other hand as a resource. And we typically use our complementary knowledge to achieve a certain, a specific goal. And I think that across these months, maybe I shouldn't be the one telling this, maybe Elena should say this, but one thing we probably did is we showed that academics or professors are not the typical weirdos who stay in the cloud and only talk about abstract things, but we can also do things. So we are quite operational and we take decisions on a daily basis. We
Real
communicate.
makers, I can tell it. It's
yes,
true.
so,
No, it's true.
if we convince you of that, then it's a victory. And
Yes.
well, I give back the ball to Elena.
Yes. Well, what Fede said, as Fede said, we can say we are very aligned in terms of values, especially talking about objectives and the ways to reach them. We are not, we do not want to reach a main goal if it's not going on the right path. I don't know if you understand what I mean. I mean, we don't want, for example, Fede told me today an example of a company that she didn't really understand that could come to with us in this road, in this path. So we want to really make things good. So we have to check and everything every one of us says or thinks about a company or a possible stakeholder or a partner, etc. And we have, and what is important is, of course, we share a budget, a compromise, and lots of illusion, or I don't know if we can say this, but to make things happen. We don't want to stay in the theory. And as I said, this academic partner is really a maker and a doer. And sometimes the projects come from their point of view, from Fede's point of view, which is really, really interesting. Because maybe it's that what I didn't think about it at the beginning. Maybe I thought it was going to be more a theoretic partner, but it's not.
And just to add on what Elena just said, like Elena is the responsible of Barcelona+B project, but the type of leadership that she has enabled the rest of the partners to truly feel that we are at her level, because she enables all the proposals to arise and to activate if they are real, but it's never judgmental. So it's really empowering, and it enables a clear flow of ideas.
But it's because I mean, they have meaning and they have a lot of power, and alone it's impossible that I would have done this project altogether. I need people with me. And well, this is a little bit the same, no? We have a faculty motivation. This is, of course, for EADA, but it's also a way of thinking of BLAB. We are more there with this project. We are experts in companies, not that much in citizens. So we are opening our minds and working in a different way. And I think faculty motivation is a path to follow.
We are very intrinsically motivated.
Yes.
So much about becoming someone. But it's only one case, so we can't really generalize or provide generalizable rules. But maybe from these first months, and given that the nature of cities can be is also to replicate across the world, maybe we can share some things that could possibly be tips. And one, I think that we all agreed that we had to find someone who agrees on the values, and it's easier said than done. For us, it was easy to do that because we already worked with BLAB, so we had previous agreements. Our students work on the B assessment. We had involved certain B Corps on various projects. And one day, B Lab approached us saying, I think we have some common goal over there. And this feeds into the second tips, that is, be open about the objectives, because it's true that you always have sustainability-driven objectives, environmental or social, and we as a school really invest a lot in sustainability. But for example, for us, it was also important to have our brand more visible in Barcelona, because in Barcelona there are other 2 business schools, but we feel that we are doing a lot in sustainability and we have to let people know about it. So we shared this desire, this objective with B Lab, and they agreed with us. And that's also why we partnered, because we were open about all the objectives that we had. And then there is an overall acceptance of new ideas and mutual support of the initiatives that we propose. So, for example, I was involved in a project created by the city of Barcelona. I presented it to Elena, and we both got super enthusiastic about it. And then Elena managed to find a space for this project within Barcelona+B. So she probably incorporates the very essence of the alliance, because she understands that, it's her project. So she sees how multiple activities from multiple sectors can sum up, but she's able to give it visibility and put it in the right space in the puzzle that we are creating together. So overall, I think that we are happy. It's a good love story, and I hope it can inspire you.
And it's gonna get bigger and bigger. This love story longer.
Thank you so much, Federica and Elena.